one really powerful aspect of the system pack and trading blocks in general is the ability to step parameters and to look at what happens when you vary parameters. Again, as I said earlier, we encourage people to trade the system pack at a choice of parameters that makes them comfortable. You don't have to trade the ones that came straight out of the box. And because it's a robust type set of systems, you should be able to trade it at multiple parameter settings and still make money, still have nice risk-adjusted performance. So let's look at that. How do we test that? It's as simple as checking this step button. In this case, I'm going to step the bars in the fast EMA, and I'm going to step the bars in the slow EMA, and I'm going to do that simultaneously. So let's say we step this from 5 to 25 by 5s. So that's 5 parameter tests. It's going to test values of 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. That's going to give us 5 tests. And then let's say we step this from, 100 to 160, and we do that by 10s. Well, that's, 7 more tests, right? So it's 100, 110, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's 7 tests. In total, this is going to run 35 parameter tests. And it's going to run each parameter in combination with each other parameter. And this is what pops out. We have, again, summaries up at the top of each individual test. And then we have some graphs that can give us very useful information. In this case, what this particular graph is telling us is we got this big, broad plateau of really top-tier performance, a MAR of 1 1/4, which is about as good as they get with this fund, with the strategy. And then we have down here these sets of parameters that returned, down at 0.65. They certainly didn't lose money. They were still actually pretty good, but the Sharpe ratios were about half what the best ones were, and this type of plot allows us to see that. So let's interpret this. What's going on? We stepped our bars in fast EMA against our bars in slow EMA, and as we see, as we go this way on the chart, nothing really changes. It's pretty much the same across the board. So that tells us our slow EMA didn't have a large effect. It was very insensitive to whether we picked 100 or 120 or 160. On the other hand, our fast EMA, within this range, it's very flat. And when you get down here, it's very flat. But in between, it drops off this steep cliff. And we'll scroll up one. This is kind of just a top view of the exact same chart. We're just looking down on it from directly above. And we can see this line. It's basically at about 16 bars. That if you stay below that, if you stay from 5 to 10 to 15, the performance is very good. When you cross that threshold, you've altered the strategy such that it doesn't catch the same trade. And that's important to know. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the strategy. It means that there's a clear demarcation point with this particular strategy where you have a broad plateau of good performance and a broad plateau of not so good performance, and there's a pretty clear choice between the two. When you choose a parameter, you're definitely going to be wanting to be somewhere down in this area. So that's just a brief description of the kind of power that you have in your hands when you step these parameters. And you can step parameters for any of these systems in whatever combinations you like. Just be aware of the fact that the more parameter tests there are to a simulation, the longer it's going to take to run.